Immediately after World War II, the US and the Soviet Union were embroiled in a power struggle, each country seeing domination in every sector possible, including space exploration. This intense competition led to man's first voyage outside Earth, and the rest has been history as we have since explored other galaxies, planets, and the cosmos in general, and have managed to capture these stunning rare moments: stars, asteroids, and planets. Which of these photos has been the most stunning of all? Join us as we delve into 10 mind-blowing pictures NASA took from space. A fiery ball of destruction. NASA and other space groups with resources in space have failed to give a detailed description of the impact of meteors on the Earth, especially before the invention of advanced technology in the 21st century. Because of this, NASA cannot conclude whether the Earth experienced a cataclysmic collision with meteorites. When they come in contact with the Earth, these meteorites can cause deep craters as wide as an ocean. Meteorites may have occurred in the past and probably formed craters that turned into oceans, but NASA cannot confirm the impact of any past occurrence. Despite the lack of evidence, meteorite destruction looms because of the dynamic nature of our planet. In 2013, NASA got first-hand information about meteorites because a huge meteor, as big as a building, breached the Earth's atmosphere and made its way toward Chelyabinsk, Russia. It looked like a magnificent stock traveling through the sky at 11 miles per hour. Suddenly, just 14 miles above the ground, the meteorite exploded, and the blast was so severe that it was felt throughout Russia. The explosion generated a bright flash, producing a hot cloud of dust and gas that penetrated 86,000 feet. This was 26 to 33 times as much energy as that released from the atomic bomb detonated at Hiroshima. The sonic bangs shattered glass in every direction. In a moment, about 1,500 people were seriously injured enough to seek medical treatment. All of the injuries were due to indirect effects rather than the meteor itself, mainly from broken glass in windows immediately after the shockwave. The explosion damaged about 7,200 buildings in 6 cities across the region. The object approached Earth undetected before its atmospheric entry, partly because its radiant source direction was close to the sun. The light from the meteor was briefly brighter than the sun, visible as far as 60 miles away, and it briefly blinded anyone who witnessed its blast. It was like the end of the Earth. Were more meteorites coming to destroy other parts? Many individuals were sore and afraid. It was an incident of impulsive destruction, and nobody had time to prepare. Some eyewitnesses in freezing Russia also reported feeling intense heat from the fireball. NASA had captured imagery showing where it came from before entering the Earth. They also captured the huge craters the meteorite left behind as a reminder of our world's dynamism. The meteorite had been formed from space in secrecy, and the severity could only be determined once a thorough investigation was conducted. The unfortunate event was quick and demanded an even quicker action. There was no telling of its destruction. It also served as a wake-up call that the Earth should be ready to defend itself from cosmic intrusion when it comes. The International Space Group had reiterated that the world was prepared for any cosmic intrusion because of the advancement of technology, but they failed woefully to protect her. There was no infrastructure in place to withstand that kind of impact. The incident forced the Earth to confront its vulnerability to external threats and put the proper infrastructure in place in preparation for the unknown. But space exploration also allowed us to find cosmic similarities, like the Mars Henge. Our planets are not so different after all. Mars Henge, stones in space. Like Stonehenge, the Mars Henge remains a captivating mystery, with numerous theories and myths about its origin. When Stonehenge was first discovered, scientists gave their 2 cents to bizarrely gathering strange stones with nothing else around. Some said the stones were remnants of a Roman temple, while others said it was a complicated design of another solar year. But how did stones with such an intricate design survive without cracks in their creation? Was there something else there? The most bizarre story about Stonehenge is that it was created by Merlin, a Hollywood wizard who is not even real. But Merlin or not, how did Stonehenge come about? One thing is for sure, the stones did not arrange themselves. So, was it created by a group of extraterrestrial beings? They were arranged strangely, like a small meeting with little chairs. 2 large stones acted as stands for almost every chair, and then another was placed on them. It was like whoever did it knew they were going to sit, but they needed help to get something concrete about Stonehenge or its origins. Experts have speculated that it must have been formed in the Eastern Mediterranean, the same way they built the pyramids of Egypt. However, NASA continued its space exploration in another Mars mission. This time, the astronauts sent clear pictures of what looked like a small gathering from the Martian surface. The stone circle on Mars was spotted in images captured by the High-Resolution Imaging Science Experiment, or HiRISE's, camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. The gathering eerily looked similar to Stonehenge. It featured two circles of rocks with a huge square of stones in the center. It was quickly called the Mars Henge because of the layout similarities to Stonehenge. But it only raised more questions. Were both stones of the same origin? Are they connected? Who built the Stonehenge on Earth if the Romans built the Mars Henge? Did the activities of the East Mediterranean also influence Mars? The Mars Henge image was taken in the 1970s, but it was tucked away in NASA archives until they decided to release it. Then an eagle-eye UFO investigator stumbled upon it, sparking deep interest and several opinions. Some people claim that NASA must have had interactions with aliens, but they kept this from the public. However, NASA rejected the comparison between Stonehenge and Mars Henge. Some experts claim that the Mars Henge was not real, and the astronauts who called it suffered from pareidolia. They saw strange objects in strange places because their minds played tricks on them. Since they were so used to seeing faces and other significant everyday items in random places, their minds began to manipulate patterns or connections in unconnected places. But if it was their minds playing a fast one on them, how did they get images of the gathering? Did their minds photograph the images onto the camera? Antennae galaxies, insects in the skies. The antennae galaxies, also known as NGC 4038 and NGC 4039, were found 45 million light-years away and captured in a slow, captivating cosmic dance. They were going through a starburst phase in which collating clouds of gas and dust with entangled magnetic fields causes rapid star formation. The antenna galaxies were first discovered by William Herschel in 1785, and their collision resembled an insect's antennae. However, people could only explain or investigate the captivating phenomenon at the time of advanced technology. This collision and merger sequence for galaxy evolution was partly developed by successfully modeling the antennae galaxies' antennae in particular. The nuclei of two galaxies would come together to form one giant galaxy. They are located 0.25 degrees north of 31 Craterus and 325 degrees southwest of Gamma Corvi. Imagine capturing two colossal bodies, swirling and dancing, waiting to be coupled. It was magnificent. Modern telescopes like the Hubble Space Telescope could capture intricate details of the cosmic dance. It seemed like they were reaching out to each other and professing their love, as humans did. The antennae galaxies also contain a relatively immature collection of massive globular clusters, possibly formed due to the collision between the two galaxies. Scientists had theorized that the antennae were two separate galaxies about 1.2 billion years ago. NGC 4038 was a barred spiral galaxy, and NGC 4039 was a spiral galaxy. 900 million years ago, the antennae began to approach one another. 600 million years ago, the antennae passed through each other, looking like the mice galaxies. 300 million years ago, the antennae stars began to be released from both galaxies, and now they have formed the shape of an antenna. It seemed like it took these galaxies 300 million years to complete a move. The antennae galaxies imagery reminds us of the beauty and power of the cosmos and how every dictation on the planet starts from space. When galaxies collide, it gives birth to numerous groups of stars that light up the sky. Scientists have been able to follow up and investigate these events due to advanced space imaging tools like the Hubble telescope and the radio telescopes on the ground. These tools have taught us about X-rays using the Chandra X-ray Observatory. They have also confirmed the areas in space with stronger electromagnetic waves and heavy elements when galaxies collide. These galaxies look like tornadoes of stars or fireworks as they keep moving toward each other. Then they form one giant galaxy like a blazing eye. Terrifying object in the cosmos. A bizarre cosmos event, Haro 505, offers a first-hand experience of how stars are born. First observed in the late 19th century by Sherburne Wesley Burnham, Herbig-Haro objects were recognized as a distinct type of emission nebula in the 1940s. The first astronomers to investigate the stunning cosmic event were George Herbig and Guillermo Haro, and the event was named after them. Herbig and Haro were researching star formation when they first evaluated the objects and concluded that they were a byproduct of the star formation process. The objects were like strange, closing things around young stars. Jet-like glowing strings occur when materials shoot out from young stars and bump into anything around them. Herbig and Haro studied the night skies in the mid-20th century with limited equipment. But as technology advances and the use of enhanced telescopes come to play, better imagery of the objects has also been analyzed. The Hubble telescope has granted astronomers access to the tiniest details of these objects, making their analysis more accurate and profound. These objects are formed in a special area in the grand cosmos called a molecular cloud or a stellar nursery. They are formed when narrow jets of partially ionized gas ejected by stars collide with nearby clouds of gas and dust at hundreds of miles per second. Now imagine a formation from a dance of stars in their immediate environment. HH 505 itself looked like a mind-blowing string linked to one another. These jet-like structures carve the surroundings of young stars and influence how other stars are born. They also direct the flow of matter and energy. They speed through space, separating the dense matter of clouds and forming a pathway for creation and destruction. Walking in space is the only legitimate way to brag about Cloud9. Let's look at the brave stories of astronauts who dare the unimaginable. The astonishing spacewalk people could travel worldwide by seas, lands, or skies, but nobody could imagine traveling out of the Earth. It was our world, and probably the only one we knew for centuries. The idea of floating alone in the sky was both unimaginable and alarming. But on 18th of March 1965, Soviet cosmonaut Alexei Leonov became the first person to leave a space capsule and float freely in orbit to spacewalk. The image was captivating and unimaginable. How can somebody float away from the Earth in the sky, only stuck in a suit? However, Leonov's mission was not without its challenges. At the end of the spacewalk, his spacesuit had inflated in the vacuum of space to the point where he could not re-enter the airlock. He had to let some pressure out and barely return to the shuttle's airlock. But Leonov achieved his aim. He was the first man to successfully attempt a spacewalk, showing that there was a whole new world outside the Earth. But he also confirmed that the Earth was the only conducive place for living things, as the harsh weather in space could kill you in seconds. While on the mission, Leonov drew a small sketch of an orbital sunrise, producing the first ever work of art made in outer space. He was one of the brave individuals who risked their lives in the quest for true knowledge and space exploration. These astronauts risk everything to discover better things beyond our atmosphere, whether it be to the rust-colored Martian surface, the desolate surface of the Moon, or the orbiting laboratory of the International Space Station. Space exploration and its impact on our world prove that information can be advantageous. It also confirms the zeal and will of humans to continuously challenge themselves, pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Space exploration has also been made easy through technological advancement. Cosmic missions are successful most of the time. Over the years, statistics have shown that the probability of space accidents is much lower than car accidents in the case of the Earth. In 1984, Bruce Mandus, a daring American astronaut, etched his name in history books when he ventured where no one had gone before in the cosmos. Momentarily forgetting safety protocols, Mandus ventured freely among the stars for several dangerous minutes as the world watched, holding its breath. But he stirred something adventurous in the people back on Earth. He pushed boundaries and made other humans believe they could also push boundaries. But anything could have gone wrong, and it would have been fatal for Mandus. If the engineer had made even the slightest mistake, or Mandus missed a safety step, or a component on the spacecraft malfunctioned, it would have been a different story. But Mandus found his way back to the shuttle and found his way home, to the delight of the citizens of the Earth. What would you do if your belief about the Earth was nothing but wrong all along? What would you do if you had to key into the reality that the Earth was nothing like they told you? The Earth, a tiny floating marble centuries ago, many people believed that the Earth was the only planet. As the quest for knowledge increased, many discoveries began to correct every wrong notion, including the belief that the Earth was like a pancake, flat and sprawled out. Nobody was prepared for the real revelation and the brutal truth that the Earth was not a house containing many very different celestial bodies. Just after Christmas in 1968, the famous image of a blue ball rising in cosmic space taken by Apollo 8 was seen for the first time. The image was our fragile Earth floating in space like an unimaginable mystery. The image also thwarted the belief that the Sun, the Moon, and other planets were orbiting around us like we once believed. Instead, our beloved planet was orbiting across the cosmos and gracefully around the Sun, like a beautiful dancer trying to get the attention of the king. How can the Earth be moving and we are not feeling anything? Imagine what you believed since childbirth turning out to be outright wrong with evidence to back it up. Known as the father of astronomy, Galileo Galilei studied speed and velocity, gravity and freefall, the principle of relativity, inertia, and projectile motion. He also worked in applied science and technology. He quickly found himself under house arrest when he suggested that the Earth orbited around the cosmos and not the other way around. His opinion was met with strong opposition from within the Catholic Church and from some astronomers. In 1615, the Roman Inquisition investigated the matter and concluded that the theory was absurd and foolish, since nobody on Earth was rotating. He continued to defend his views and was found guilty of heresy. He spent the rest of his life under house arrest. As the decades went by, proof of Galileo's suggestions stacked up, and the father of astronomy was vindicated. The Earth indeed moved around the Sun. More astronomers started studying the Earth's routine and the operation of the cosmos, but even in the 20th century, many scholars still believed that there were no other galaxies. According to them, the Milky Way, our galaxy, was the extent of the current world. There was no way any other galaxy could form their worlds. But since then, the quest for true knowledge has increased, and new things about the cosmos are being discovered regularly due to advanced technology and equipment. Astronauts have been sent to space to capture images and videos of the cosmos for analysis. Space classes are taught in schools. Nobody assumes that the Earth is flat and sprawled out anymore. In the image that Apollo took, the Earth appeared to rise just off the coast of Liberia at 404 degrees north and 1244 degrees west. The new revelation of the Earth as a vulnerable little marble gave birth to the movement to stop global warming. New images and videos of the dance of the galaxies showed that the Milky Way was not the only galaxy in the cosmos, and many other galaxies could form their worlds. When astronauts went on missions to explore other planets, the Earth appeared as a fading dot, showing that the little things we see in the skies were as big as our Earth, or even bigger and more beautiful. The Southern Ring Nebula, also known as the Venerable Custodian of Heaven, released another breathtaking photo. Nobody was prepared. If they had not seen the picture, nobody would believe there was anything like that away from our time blue ball. NASA released a stunning image of the NGC 3132, also known as the 8-burst nebula or the Southern Ring Nebula. It was like a movie in the cosmos, and you could not see anything else. The images reveal two stars close together within the constellation Vela, one of 10th magnitude, the other 16th, located about 1.7 away from the central star. Its distance from Earth is estimated at 2,000 light-years, so it could only be captured with an advanced telescope. The Southern Ring Nebula was one of the 5 cosmic objects observed by the James Webb Space Telescope released in 2022. NASA said that the Ring Nebula is a huge revolutionary mystery in cosmic space that covers half the distance it takes light to travel in a year. A blurry nimbus of gas and dust surrounds it. Over thousands of years, the Southern Ring Nebula has been shedding its outer layer in all directions, making its view consistently spectacular. Its glow remains top-notch as it displays its final dance, lasting millions of years. NASA suggested that the Sun undergo a shedding process like the nebula, which would take billions of years. 2 snapshots taken with the James Telescope revealed intricate details about the outer layer of the nebula, the void in the middle, and the 2 stars lighting up the void. The planetary nebula's central star is a white dwarf and is the fainter of the 2 stars. This hot central star blowing off its outer layers is making the nebula fluoresce brightly from its intense ultraviolet radiation emission. The other star, also known as the A-type star, is separated from the white dwarf by billions of years, and it orbits at roughly the same distance as the edge of a dust cloud surrounding the central white dwarf. If you look at the images, you can easily dismiss the string of blue string-like web in the background. Veteran astronomer Carl Lader-Gordon described it as a galaxy caught sideways in the void. His view allows more research about stars and their relationships with galaxies. Some things are just unbelievable, and you wonder how they were formed. The more you try to understand them, the more questions you have. Let's check out the Phantom Galaxy, a grand design. The Phantom Galaxy may sound like a little space in the metaverse in a world where high technology and virtual invention have taken over. But it is bigger than that. As seen in snapshots taken with the $10 billion James Webb Telescope and the Hubble Telescope, the Phantom Galaxy continues to impress scientists, scholars, astronomers, and the world at large. Hubble and other telescopes had already taken images of the Pillars of Creation, or Eagle Nebula, but Webb captured intricate details. The Pillars of Creation is a special connection of stars about 32 million light-years away from Earth. According to the European Space Agency, which worked with NASA to unveil and operate the mind-blowing telescopes, it is webbed within the Pisces constellation. The Phantom Galaxy's spiral arms are well-designed compared to other known galaxies. They extend outward from the galaxy's core. The Webb telescope helps catch cords of gas and dust weaving through the galaxy's spiral arms, making it more fascinating. The ESA built the Webb telescope to facilitate the study of star formation. The Hubble telescope observations of the Phantom Galaxy revealed extremely bright areas of star formation known as HY regions. Hubble's sharp vision at ultraviolet and visible wavelengths helps Webb's phenomenal sensitivity at infrared wavelengths. The Phantom Galaxy is free from any dark nuclear clouds. Like the Phantom, something frightening was discovered on Mars. Imagine peeking through a dark cosmic window in a bid for something unveiled on the other side and seeing a huge beast with 16 legs. What now? The cosmic door of Mars has been likened to the Earth in many ways. It has also been a speculative destination for humans in years to come. Mars has always been a custodian of many strange stories, including the view that aliens reside there. However, the International Space Agency has consistently pumped resources and people into more exploration of the neighboring planet. But even with the International Space Agency having resources at their beck and call, independent extraterrestrial explorers and Mars enthusiasts have explored more of the rust-colored planet. On May 7, 2022, Mars explorers captured a huge mound of rock nicknamed the East Cliff. The mound on Mount Sharp has several naturally occurring open fractures, including one roughly 12 inches 30 centimeters tall and 16 inches 40 centimeters wide, similar in size to a dog door. Many Mars enthusiasts were excited and curious about the fascinating discovery, but once again, NASA gave another vague dismissal, concluding that it was a mere open fracture common in bedrocks, both on Earth and on Mars. But it only fueled curiosity and gave rise to more questions than answers. Why was the open fracture not discovered on any other planet that is not yet conducive to human life apart from Mars? Many conspiratorial theorists opine that it was probably a door to a sanctuary away from the Earth, which had become unbearable over the years. Or maybe it was a temple of deep secrets about the Earth. Either way, it was yet another Martian puzzle waiting to be solved. Theories about extraterrestrial involvement also blew up since the door was not fit for a human. It only fits the size of a dog. Theories of the sun have been developed for decades, yet no one came close enough to a hot date until 2020. The sun's behavior would blow your mind. A hot date with the sun. In 2020, the Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope, the world's largest with a 4-meter aperture, brought the world to a standstill after it revealed breathtaking pictures at a closer distance to the sun. The telescope in Hawaii revealed tiny features as close as 20 miles across. It was built to capture super-sharp sun pictures and measure the magnetic fields of solar features that affect space weather, including sunspots, flares, and coronal mass ejections. The sun is a big fiery ball up to 870,000 miles in diameter and about 94 million miles from Earth. The telescope captured massive sunspots as big as the Earth and showed light bridges that appeared to cross the gaping sunspots. The solar observatory sits atop the dormant volcano Haleakala, towering over Maui at 10,000 feet above sea level. The study aimed to stimulate the understanding of how the sun works. This is important to protect our planet because sunspots cause sol flares, which can cause power outages and disrupt radiation in the atmosphere. The telescope captured quiet regions of the sun with low solar activity. The images show a bright pattern of hot plasma surrounded by darker lanes of cooler plasma. The Daniel K. Solar Telescope will collaborate with the telescopes to capture data in space for more research. Thank you for watching. Comment to share what you think about antimatter and all that it offers. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos.